Welcome back, folks, to the Millennium Bowling Supply YouTube channel for another ball review. This time, taking a look at the Storm Absolute. This is the newest asymmetric offering from Storm. Features a low RG, a medium-high differential, and a really high intermediate differential. The high intermediate differential that's featured in this all-new Sentinel core should give us a lot of friction response, but the media that Storm's put out says that this ball is supposed to be relatively smooth. So I'll be interested to see how those two balance. For me, these slower response balls aren't usually very good at Millennium because the back ends are a little tight and a little slow. However, this ball does feature a brand new cover stock formula. It's called R2S Deep Hybrid. It's the first time we've seen it stateside. That R2S Deep Hybrid is supposed to be cleaner than the regular R2S formula, which is featured on the High Road line. And R2S Pearl has been on some of my favorite balls. I've had a lot of luck here at Millennium with R2S Pearl bowling balls, so I expect this to be close enough to that I will be able to use it in league some. Overall, I can see this ball's really smooth, but I don't see it locking up like some of the other asymmetricals with the really high intermediate differentials. Some of those jerk really hard off of the spot, and then they sort of get straight and go forward. This one doesn't really appear to be doing that. It's a little smoother off of the spot, but for the most part, it keeps going. We are on the fresh house shot. He just ran them for me before I started filming. I'm not sure this is the best condition for this ball because of how clean the cover is, but we're going to see if we can put a couple together. I'm excited about this ball, not so much for this house, but for the other house that I bowl league in. The back ends are pretty tight. There's not a lot of hook to the right. And I think this ball will let me straighten them out a little bit and still see it because of that large asymmetry, but it'll also still store energy with that cleaner cover. I definitely see this more as a 2-ball on most stuff just because of how clean the cover is, even though the core is pretty strong. I just don't see it having enough traction on the fresh, and you can see here it's just a little behind the head pin a couple of times. As you can see, it does shape really nice. We're just having a hard time getting the angle exactly perfect here. So what we're going to do is move in and soften up and keep that rotation a little bit higher. See if we can get this ball to slow down and pick up. And that one looked better. So same spot, same speed. We'll just try to put a couple together so you can really get a good idea of it and actually see some strikes. I brought some interesting comparison balls today in the current line. We're going to look at this next to a UFO Alert, which is a hot topic of conversation, whether this is going to be a replacement for that ball or not. And we're going to look at an RSTX3. I'm going to take another little move left here off that 4-pin. Kept that one in. All right, one more good one with the Absolute, and then we'll start with the UFO Alert. All right, so we're going to change the UFO Alert here, and then we're just going to go 1-and-1 with each ball and see. So we're going to go back right where the Absolute was being a little long and or a little sharp. I expect the UFO Alert to be a little less responsive. The RG is a touch higher, and the intermediate differential is a touch lower. Overall, I think those two things will add up to a smoother move overall. So we can see overall the shapes are pretty similar, but they are nuanced and different from each other in a way that I think can be attributed to the core numbers. So overall, I said I thought I'd have the UFO alert smoother. It appears the absolute is a little bit smoother overall as far as the friction response and overall move off of the spot once it gets to the break point. So we're gonna do that same kind of deeper spot again. Missed in. Okay, we're gonna do that same deeper spot and hit within a zip code of what we're looking at. And back to that spot with the absolute. So overall, I'm finding that the UFO alert tips a little bit more, which is kind of the opposite of what I expected with the difference in the core numbers. Overall, I think the absolute is a little torquier and a little bit smoother off of the spot overall. So they're not identical, but as far as a one-to-one replacement in the bag, I think the absolute would be a good choice. As you can see, they are pretty similar shape-wise. All right, now we'll get into the comparison with the RST X3. The X3 should be much sharper overall. I don't know how much cleaner it'll be. This cover is not particularly weak, but I do have it really responsive and quick. So we're gonna move back right just a hair and really just wide open bail it to the right. You can see that one jerked a lot more than the absolute or the UFO alert. We're gonna try those same open angles from a little further right with the absolute. I'm anticipating a 10 pin. And I kept that one a little more in. So a lot bigger gap there between the X3 and the absolute than there was between the UFO alert and the absolute. And back to the absolute from that same spot. So as you can see, the absolute is a little bit smoother. I'm finding that the X3 for me is great whenever they are just flying or if there's a lot of friction to throw to, because it responds off of it really consistently. But it can get a little sideways and unpredictable. On paper, the weight block for the X3 is actually really similar to the UFO alert, but you can see the X3 is much more responsive. The UFO alert's kind of in the middle, and then the absolute has the smoothest shape or the slowest response to friction. All right, so one more each, and then we'll call it. Stay tuned for the Revenant review as well. I'll have an announcement in there about the Pro Shop. Overall, I think the Absolute's going to be a really good one. As you saw, it wasn't awesome on the fresh, but as they've settled down a little bit, it's really come alive here. We'll throw one more with the Absolute, try to leave on a strike. You can get your Absolute and your Revenant January 20th at your local Storm VIP Pro Shop. Thanks so much for watching. Storm Nation.